Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through a company comparison app that we recently built. And we have built this using multiple tools. For the front end, we have used Lovable. For the workflow automation in the back end, we have used N8N. And we have used Explorium MCP as the core data intelligence layer. Now, the goal of this project was very simple. It was to see if we can use AI and structured data to do a meaningful competitor analysis instead of just surface level comparisons. And more importantly, we also wanted to see if we can make this usable for founders, GTM teams, analysts, sales teams, and strategy teams. Now, consider a situation wherein you have to do a competitor research or if you have to compare two companies. Ideally, what we start with is going on to Google and searching for two companies. In this case, say for example, we are taking two companies in India that are in the e-commerce cosmetic space, wherein one is Mamaearth and one is Sugar Cosmetics. So what I've simply put in over here on the Google search is Mamaearth versus Sugar Cosmetics. I have one the AI generated review, and at the same time I also have multiple websites that are comparing based on their brand presence, based on their D2C strategies, based on their financials also. But I don't have a single source that gives me a complete competitor analysis. So what is the problem over here? So the problem over here is that one, the data is scattered. Second, the sources that are there might not agree with each other. So if say there is some data point mentioned on some source and there is another data point mentioned on another source, I don't know which one to trust. Second is in case if say, we are using any tools as well, then what we might get as an outcome is just shallow comparisons based on the company size, the revenue, and say the tech stack, just few basic details that are available. And at the end, we still end up making manual notes wherein we have to list down all of those details in a Google sheet or in our notes, and then finally draw insights from it. So this is exactly what we wanted to solve by building this agent. And what we wanted to solve was one, that the agent could understand the companies contextually and not just as an overall company. Second, it should compare those companies based on relevant parameters and not just generic parameters. And finally, we wanted the output to be structured, providing usable insights. And that's wherein our app came in. I'll quickly show you a walkthrough of how this app works. So this is how the app works, wherein first I'll be entering the company one. So in this case, say I've entered Mamaearth, and the second parameter that I'll put in is the second company, which is the Sugar Cosmetics. Finally, what I'll do is that I'll click on compare companies. Once I do that, it starts the analysis, and now I'll show you exactly how the backend looks like. So for the backend, we'll first see N8N, wherein we'll see how the entire workflow is designed. So we built a very simple workflow wherein we have a webhook trigger. Now what a webhook trigger is, it is a way to integrate N8N with Lovable, wherein we have a production URL that gets integrated with our Lovable app to get the input and at the same time give the results back to Lovable so that it can present it to the user. Now, in this case, we have some test data wherein we had taken, say, Apple and Microsoft as two companies to compare. So you can see this is wherein we have the input. Next, we'll go on to see what it does in the AI agent. So we have the second part, that's the second step as an AI agent, wherein we are defining how the comparison should take place. And for this, we have integrated it with one OpenAI's chat model and second is the MCP client. Now, before showing you in detail about this, I'll quickly highlight the MCP client that we have used. In this case, we have used Explorium's MCP. Now, what is Explorium? Explorium is one of the leading data intelligence platform that provides company data and prospect data through easy integrations with multiple platforms. Now, this is how the platform looks like when you actually log in. What I would recommend you guys to do is before you start with the integration or dive directly into it, go to their documentations, see what all things are they offering when it comes to say company data or the prospect data, and what is it that exactly they do. So as you can see over here, it is highlighted in the business section, the business statistics or the event types. So business statistics gives you an overview as to what all insights can it offer. That's the basic insights, wherein it has mentioned industry, revenue, employee count, geographic distribution. That are the basic details that it gives. What more does it give? You can click on the business events, see that in terms of business events, it's able to provide the funding rounds, product launches, and all hiring trends and such news that are available. Next, it has even given in terms of say the enrichment, what all things can it do. So there is multiple things right from firmographics to technographics. Technographics is wherein it gives us the complete tech stack of the particular website or of that company. It gives us the company's social media presence, giving us what is the trending topic that they are building posts on. It gives us their employee rating from multiple different platforms. At the same time, it even offers us financial metrics of public companies. If there is any funding or acquisition related news that is there, it gives us a competitive landscape as well, giving us a highlight of who are the key competitors or rivals of that particular company. So as you can see, it is given extensively everything that one might need to have those data in place. The only missing link over here is deriving insights and drawing the comparison between those two companies. Hence, we have used Explorium as that data intelligence layer to provide us with the data. Now coming back to Anyday, when I click on the agent over here and see what are the instructions that I've given, the first prompt that I've used is I've asked it to take the company names as inputs. And then for the AI agent to work, I've given it a message. The message is that it needs to act as a business intelligence and market research agent with tasks of very simple things that once it receives the name of the two companies to compare, it starts by identifying and defining the relevant comparison parameters before doing the comparison. Once it has defined that, it will trigger Explorium's MCP to get those data points. Now, if you want to see how does the Explorium MCP work, you can again go to Explorium and you can test out their MCP playground, wherein you can simply type in any prompt that you're looking for in terms of the data points. As you can see, like I have over here 500 US SaaS companies. It's just one of their examples. When I actually send this, what happens is this MCP, this agent, it thinks, it builds queries, and finally it gives us the output as well. So as you can see over here, it has set in the queries, added the filters, and finally it has given us the exact data that we are looking for. It does take a couple of seconds for this to load since it's working on the backend in terms of fetching those results. But once that is done, we have a structured output. So this is how you can test the way in which this particular MCP works, and you can then configure it as per what you require. Coming back to the message that we have, what happens after the data is fetched in? So once the data is fetched in, we want the comparison to take place, and we want that comparison to be given in a structured format. So that's wherein I've given it a structured format also, that this is the format in which I want the output, and that output then gets fed in to Lovable. But before that, we have the third and final step that we have, that is having the structured output parser, which organizes all of the data that we get from Explorium and from OpenAI chat model, and then that gets sent to this result node. And this result node then triggers to the webhook and Lovable gets the output. So when this is done, this is how the output on our application will look like. Now, if you want to see in real time the execution, what you can do is you can go back to Anyday. You can go to their execution section, and over here you will be able to see how was the entire workflow executed, and if there are any changes or if there are any errors, you can work over here and you can resolve things over here. Now, as you can see, these tick marks actually show that the workflow was executed properly. I'll just go back to the app that we built on Lovable, and as you can see, it has given me a quick box highlighting a few basic things about the companies as to the description, the industry that they are in, their locations, the revenue currently, what is the revenue right now. At the same time, it has given me a complete comparison score, that say out of 50, what is the score. And below it has given me a detailed comparison right from market positioning to their innovation and technology, their financial strength, the brand reputation, the growth potential. And finally, I have a verdict that says that this particular company say leads in comparison to the other one, with a couple of takeaways. So this is how easy it becomes for us to do competitor research that can help in terms of refining our own research when we are say doing an account-based marketing, or we are trying to create reports, say industry specific reports, and comparing multiple companies or peer companies. So this is how this particular platform works. And that's about it. That's about how we used 3 different platforms, Lovable, Anytin, and Explorium, to build something like this that is helpful, that can be used to create real-time production-ready insights. And if you're interested in building something similar or want to explore how AI agents can power research workflows, feel free to reach out to us. I've dropped in our email ID in the description, or you can even drop a comment. We'll be sharing more of these builds and applications soon. And if you love this, and if you are someone who likes to build something like this, please do subscribe to our channel. And thank you so much for watching this video.